Hi, my name is Neb Camus Sen Atumbre. This is the first of a series of 3 videos called Maldek, the Lost Planet. The bow in Genesis 9 with which the Elohim made a covenant with Noah was a mothership. They said they would place the bow, the crystal sea, light hits it, and it gives off a rainbow effect because it hits the crystals. And if you look through a crystal, you will see the effect. They will place a bow in the sky as a covenant with you because you were perfect in your generation and that you were a new Adam for all times in your generation. That bow was the mothership, the mother plane, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called it, also called Nibiru, commanded by Enki, or the son of Enki, Marduk. That is the one. That is this Nibiru. There were many ships called Nibiru, just like the US has ships, and they called it US 412, for example. And that means US 412. Nibiru is a star fleet. The large ship launched from Rizq. Rizq is the 8th planet of a 3-sun galaxy called Ilion. As I said before, you have beings who are set on destroying you because they want the planet for themselves. This stemmed from when the planet ship Nibiru first came into this solar system. It hit the planet called Maldek, or VULCAN in the Greek language. Maldek is not a new discovery. In fact, it was discovered originally in 1878 AD, but was later in 1915 AD it was said to officially have died. Upon collision, billions of Maldekians were killed. The only survivors were those of the military or the warring class who wouldn't listen to reason even if they could. The crash communication could not be set up to inform the Maldekians that it was not an attack by Nibiru, but an accident, because part of Nibiru was damaged when it bounced off the planet Maldek. 2 moons were destroyed upon impact with Nibiru. Proof of this is seen from the remains that became the asteroid belt in the middle of your solar system. The planet Earth was the site set for the purpose of mining such minerals as uranium, plutonium, chlorophyll, platinum, gold, silver, diamonds, as well as scanned the ocean floors for chlorine and other elements that were beneficial to the beings in the other planets. Tiamat was also used as a hunting ground and a resort. Beings would intergalactically travel from planet to planet shopping, called planetary shopping. They would travel the universe in smaller ships, larger than us, some 60 feet across, some 30 feet across, and some 10 feet across for space traveling, generally carrying a crew of archaeologists, ecologists, a defense crew, in case of emergency, a doctor and a pilot. They were seeking out flat plain areas and avoiding cities and earth people. Once areas were mapped out to where they could get resources, they were called malls. Nibiru launched from the planet Rizq on one of its routine trips with a crew of 144,000 members. 24 of them were the elite members who stood 7 feet tall. Each of the 24 elders is appointed for overseeing the planet Earth. They were sent as guardians of light or the keepers of the secret. The elders were chosen to guard Earth for the time of 1 Earth day, which is equal to 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 6 seconds, or 24 hours. This is also based on the equinox, which happens every 24,000 years, lined with 4 cycles, 2 sun and 2 moon cycles, each of 6,000 years. The 24th seat is occupied by whatever human being who was selected to reveal the message or bring good news. Over him would be one of the 24 elders. Each elder has 24 hours, which is 60 minutes or years, broken up into 2 sets of 30. In these end times, I, Yanun, the 19th elder from the 19th galaxy, a tri-solar 3-sun system, also called the Great Galaxy, known as the plane on high, called heaven or even Jannah. I manifest with my first 30 years in the year 1970 AD, the first half hour of the end of times. So while the planet ship called Nibiru was making a routine trip in search of other planets that were rich in natural resources and minerals to take back to the planet they came from, things did not go as planned. As the great ship, planet-sized ship Nibiru came nearer to your solar system, traveling at the speed of light, which is 186,272 miles per second from Ilion, en route through the stars that took 25,920 years. The great planet ship Nibiru had 12 smaller ships. This craft, being 4 times the size of planet Tiamat, whose diameter was 15,852 miles before splitting, which cut it into 2 equal halves, and Nibiru's diameter being 63,408 miles. Earth's is now 7,926 miles in diameter, 24,896 miles circumference. Do the math. These smaller ships were to be launched from Nibiru on reaching its destination. Nibiru was equipped with 4 separate atmospheres and 4 separate magnetic poles. Nibiru has a crystal dome, giving it the ability to break down light and magnetism. It also has a center pole, and through it and a magnetic pulsar, as well as solar panels the size of pin's head that could generate millions and millions of watts of energy. As Nibiru passed by various suns or stations set up in the galaxy, Nibiru drained of their energy resources or sources. One such instance of this caused the dwarf star called Sirius B to collapse. Some of the planets in this galaxy were frequently visited because life existed there in various forms. Kishar, meaning foremost of the 4 firm lands, now called Jupiter, was one of the planets visited that had life, as well as Clariton, located directly opposite the planet Earth on the other side of the Sun. The boundless universes are filled with all kinds of life forms. However, on this flight, the craft Nibiru had to pass by Io, Neptune, which means he whose house is water. The planet here, Neptune, was a twin planet of the planet Anu, Uranus. By twin planet, I mean Neptune is very similar and in some aspects identical to the planet Uranus. It is wrong to say that no two planets are alike. The gases that make up the atmosphere of air, Neptune and Anu, Uranus, are exactly the same. And the sizes of air, Neptune and Anu, Uranus, are similar. Their colors are identical and their rotational time are similar. The planet Anu, Uranus, practically rotates lying down. So the size, if looked at from the wrong angle, can be mistaken. The size of Anu, Uranus is a debate amongst scientists. The magnetic field of Neptune is almost asymmetrical to the planet's structure, similar but not as extreme as the magnetic field on Anu, Uranus. As Nibiru came nearer to air, Neptune, its gravitational pull, because of electrical storms, caused Nibiru to slightly go off of its orbit. As the craft Nibiru passed by air, the planet Anu came from behind the planet Neptune and caused the appearance of a bulge. This bulge pulled on Nibiru's orbit, which caused the great ship Nibiru to begin to wallop in its orbit. The planet Anu, Uranus, was not originally seen by Nibiru in the solar system when Nibiru made its first visits. Uranus, moving from behind Neptune, caused Nibiru to veer off its original path in order not to hit Uranus. Although Nibiru avoided hitting Anu, Uranus, it collided with another planet called Maldek, VULCAN, whose people were referred to as the VULKUNS, meaning those who are of frogs or frog-like people, breaking part of the planet into pieces. The remaining part of the planet was cast off into outer space, becoming known as the Lost Planet, and a part of the Zeta Reticuli galaxy, the Draco star constellation. The TV show called Star Trek calls them Klingons, which simply means cling upon. All of this happened some 24 billion years ago on a Friday afternoon at 1300 hours of Earth's time. The original name of the planet VULCAN is Maldek. Maldek is the home of the original Luciferians, reptilians, and was located between Lahmu Mars and Kishar Jupiter. Maldek was 25,005 miles in diameter. Maldek's population had a population of billions living under the sea in subcities of Karna, which was occupied by Maldikians, and Vadur, which was occupied by troglodytes. Maldek had 2 moons. This was the planet of the Masmokia, or troglodytes, or dragons, or vortex. The troglodytes average 3.5 to 4.5 feet, and their heads are extremely large. They were the slaves. The troglodyte had 2 round eyes without pupils, and no ears or protruding noses, just 2 small holes in the nose area. Their mouths are slits without lips. The troglodytes are hairless and have no teeth. The troglodytes hands have 4 webbed fingers with no thumbs. The troglodytes live totally underwater in great cities with many great biologists. However, the rulers, the Maldekians, are very large in size, from 7 to 9 feet in height, scales of multiple colors, in which they shed like all other reptiles. They lay eggs for reproduction. 4 ships managed to escape as Nibiru passed by and followed in Nibiru's path. Because they live underwater, if the planet sped up, it wouldn't affect them. However, it was daylight, and so most of the beings came on land. All of the beings that could have negotiated were dead. The only beings that survived were the ones under the seas, which were the military and the warriors who were looking for a chance to fight anyway. Nibiru had no way of contacting the beings on Maldek to let them know that it was an accident and not an attack. Thinking the planet Maldek had been attacked, the Maldekians launched 4 fighter ships at Maldek. 4 fighter ships as Maldek went off its orbit into the universe. The Maldekians had the intentions of attacking Nibiru. Nibiru put up 4 magnetic fields and destabilized these 4 ships, and they moved on as 4 powerful winds with the planet Nibiru. These 4 ships were immobilized, only whirling and twirling within the force field, causing centrifugal and centripetal forces, meaning pushing and pulling forces, becoming known as the 4 winds spoken of in the book of Revelation 7:1. The 4 fighter ships in the Enuma Elish, the tablets of destiny, were called the north wind, the south wind, the east wind, and the west wind. These 4 fighter ships surrounded Nibiru and appeared to launch an attack. The great ship Nibiru activated its 4 magnetic fields, incapacitated these ships. All of their controls and equipment ceased to function. Nibiru immediately launched 2 ships to return to Ilion to inform the elders of the incident in case of the need for assistance, and proceeded on, moving counterclockwise from the planets in the solar system. Nibiru pulled in towards Anshar, meaning foremost of the heavens, now called Saturn, and kissed off the planet Titan, which caused Nibiru, called Marduk by the Babylonians, meaning leader of the deities or supreme deity, to go on its own orbit. The orbit that Nibiru was originally on was a 25,920-year orbit called an AMS, which was the distance from the 8th planet Rizla in Ilion, the 19th galaxy, to the planet Earth, into its new orbit of 3,600 years called a Shar, since the relocation of the Anunnaki to Orion. So it would take 3,600 years to go from the Orion skies to the Earth, and another 3,600 years to return from the Earth skies to the Orion skies again. It was when Nibiru bounced off the planet Titan that circles around the planet Anshar or Saturn as rings of Saturn, which is actually a necklace of small planets, and sped up its motion, creating the Saturn rings, referred to as the necklace of Saturn. Nibiru bumped into Titan and started revolving, and smashed into many other planets, destroying the 7 moons of Saturn. At this point, Osmi, or Pluto, was released from its original orbit around the Sun and pulled away in the direction of Lahmumaz to its current position behind Ea, the planet Neptune. The path of Nibiru was now bent, even now, towards the center of the solar system, directly towards Tiamat, meaning maiden of life, and is now called Earth. As it moved into your solar system, Nibiru caused problems amongst the other planets in this solar system, pulling their moons. The planet Tiamat had turbulence and was unstable, while other planets nearby were wobbling in their orbits. Tiamat was pulled in two directions. On one side by two larger planets, Lahmu Mars and Kishar Jupiter, and two smaller planets, Lahamu Venus and Mumu, meaning one who was born, Mercury, on the other side, all pulling and tugging. This alarmed the beings of Tiamat that something was entering the atmosphere, causing volcanic eruptions, storms, hurricanes, and floods. To be continued at part 2.